back to The Journey. We're really happy today to have Andy Becker with us. And he's going to share his journey, and he's going to tell us all sorts of things about what he's been involved in. And so welcome, Andy. We're glad to have you here.
Well, I'm glad to be here.
Well, the first thing I want to ask you is about your shirt. Actually, you probably don't expect a question like this, but it makes me think you've traveled. Because it looks like it's from, South America?
I got this from Goodwill, though.
Oh, well, never mind. But you said you had been doing a lot of traveling over your lifetime,
Yes.
So was there a favorite place? Maybe you bought a shirt like that somewhere else, but...
Oh, I have tons of shirts from all kinds of places.
Mm-hmm. Well, then maybe we'll get into that later. How about we talk about your ministry? I know that's something that you've been very committed to over the years, and maybe different ministries. What's the one that you're involved with right now?
Well, prison ministry, which we visit the prison on Saturday mornings and bring the church to them per se. They can't get out of there to go to church, so we bring the church to them. We say a mass, and we bring pre-consecrated host.
Okay.
Also. So it's like a full mass to them because, as I said, they can't get out. So forth.
So you do the whole thing, or who goes with you?
Yeah, we have a team of 4 people. There were 4 people. One gentleman had to bow out lately, but anyway, we have another one prospect to fill in. But we need about 4 people in case somebody's on vacation, trip, work, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. So all you really need is about 2 people maximum, but minimum, shall I say.
So how long have you been involved with this?
Probably about 9 years.
Okay.
Yeah. 6 years before COVID, and
right, always have to give that break, don't we?
Yeah.
Well, how did you ever get started? What drew you that way?
I just felt I'd like to do something instead of just giving money to this or that or whatever. I'd rather, in a way, do things. I want to do things for people, with
face to face
with people, yes,
mm-hmm.
and try to, do what I can to help them out if I can, and so forth.
And so you chose prison ministry.
That was one of them. Yeah, mm-hmm. I've been Eucharistic ministers and things like that, and I'm ushering now and money count and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So.
So 9 years. What has been most meaningful or interesting to you about that kind of work?
Well, one of the things is we've had one person who actually converted, and we brought a priest over with us, and he baptized them and confirmation and so forth. And this gentleman was working hard to get a job outside. He worked, actually, there's a horse farm right near the prison, and he used to go over there and tend horses as part of a job at the prison. And so he had a job then from there to go to Laurel. A lot of them going in the prison, they don't have anything to go to when they come out of there. Mm-hmm. And he had been hired mm-hmm. to work at the prison. Unfortunately, one person was apparently high at night or something like that, and beat him up before he went on that, before he left the prison. But anyway, he did make it out of there mm-hmm. and got a job at the prison.
Wow.
So it's one of the highlights, just like that. And so there's a possibility of converting people actually there.
So what would you say to somebody that might want to join your team?
Well, I think of them or whatever. Well, I'd be glad to have them. Yes, definitely. Some people leave and have vacations and whatever. So we have to have a little bit of a team. Not just 1 or 2 people, and then we set up a little altar and everything like that at the prison, and say mass there, and then we have a conversation after the gospel about what the gospel was about or something like that, and so we let them talk as much as they went to about it and so forth, and we maybe talk how we feel like what the gospel meant or something like that. So
Well, it sounds like it's a really big opportunity for people to just be Jesus to people that have no other option.
No. That's a big step.
Yeah, but we are Jesus' hands and feet, and you guys are doing it.
So, yeah. Well, we do what we can. As I said, I like to do something for people instead of just, I give to plenty places, but
be on the front lines.
Uh,
Well, how did you get started? Now let's back up a few more years. In your Catholic faith, were you raised Catholic?
Well, yes, I was born and raised basically in a Catholic family. I was fifth of six. I had three brothers and two sisters, and I was about 15 years. And my family, actually, my parents even built a house 2 blocks from the school and the church, and grade school and the church that we went to.
Wow!
So that we could be close to didn't have far to go.
That is really forward thinking. I would say. Now, where did you grow up? Was it Pittsburgh area?
Yeah, it was in the Pittsburgh area. North of
I heard that.
A small town.
Yeah.
Small town north of Pittsburgh called Westview, and we were born and raised there, and my childhood and all that stuff. And as I said, I have the brothers and sisters and so forth. I had a catechism, which is just pages, loose pages, because it was no longer a booklet.
So you read it so many times it fell apart?
No, it was hand-dyed for all my brothers and sisters. So I had a Baltimore catechism that was just a bunch of loose pages.
Did you ever collect them all, and do you still have them somewhere?
Actually, I got hit by a car by my own accident.
Oh my.
And the pages were all over the ground, and I was there picking all the pages up. I had skins.
Oh my goodness! So maybe you lost a few, huh?
Well, I may have, yes.
Wow. Well, that's a well-loved book.
Well, it was, yes. Things like that were passed down through the years. We had all these school books and all that kind of stuff were passed down through the years. And so I was the sixth, and
you were almost the last one.
I was the last one. Yeah.
Now, were your parents really active in training and forming you, or was it the church, or was it both?
Both. It was both, because we went over to Mass every morning, actually. Before morning. Class. Yeah, we went over to class, got all dressed up nice, and we went to marched over to Mass, which was right next door to the school. And we had Mass, and a couple of things happened even during Mass. We had a priest actually fall dead at the altar, which, and one right in front of me. So, I made it through.
That's traumatic, my gosh.
I was on the choir and things like that.
Now, did you say it's a Catholic school?
It was a Catholic school, yes.
Right, okay.
8th grades. And then I went on to Catholic high school in Pittsburgh. And it was 3 streetcar rides to go to this thing for the first couple of years. And then we had a neighbor that also was taking their son, driving him in. So I got a ride in. But so it was 3 streetcars coming home, maybe. But
fun.
So went through all that. When I graduated from high school, my father and my parents said, they figured that they had enough money to send me to college. So I was the first of the,
of the six
to go to college. Actually, my brother got into the military. My next oldest brother, and he got the GI shortly after I started college also. So I was driving his car to school and driving us to school. So,
now, did you go to school in Pittsburgh?
In Pittsburgh, yes. I went to the University of Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And mechanical engineer.
All right. How was your faith during all of that time?
It's pretty strong. Everything was it's Catholic oriented and so forth. So it was like, old home, so to speak. The thing is, after I left, I was out of college, and I started with Westinghouse, and I ended up coming down to Baltimore to work at the plant ever near the airport. And fairly soon, I met one Catholic, and then he knew another Catholic, and so forth. So I had two buddies which were Catholic, and I thought this is really great. Here I am getting into not getting deviating, whatever, having good friends. I'll consider that.
Yeah.
And so, and the one knew about, originally lived here, and he knew about some Catholic alumni club that was starting, which was supposed to be college graduates and registered nurses, which was supposed to be the people in the club. Okay, so we all went to that, and it started, and they had a dance once a month, and then they had some committees and things like that, and I ran for office and everything like that. Was on the board a couple times, and president and all that stuff. One of the things I liked also there was that we would go to. They had a social services or something like that group, whatever, and we went to orphanages. And we'd take children out from orphanages to picnics on Sundays and things like that.
No
so
kidding.
A group of us would, gather these kids up, take them out for a picnic somewhere in some nice park or something like that. Great Falls, I don't know if you know about Great Falls down near Washington.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And take them down there and things like that. So it was very nice. There was a little problem once on one of them that I heard something about car sickness and so forth, and I didn't know where that was coming from. And apparently, what we would do is condense cars and so forth, and we'd have some people bringing the children, and because I was driving all the time, so we had some other people in the car from the club, and I got this car sick boy.
Oh boy!
And we went about 2 or 3 blocks, and that was it. Luckily, they gave this person with them attending, this girl. I had 2 girls in the car actually, and they gave her a towel in case. And so we decided to take that child back because it was not going to. She was not going to get it too far. Yeah. So things like that would happen and so forth. But it was great. It was great. I felt like I came from having a couple Catholic friends back in Pittsburgh, locally and things like that, to a great number of people. Actually, it was like 30, 40 people in the club and so forth. And so getting to know and having a large number of them as friends, actually.
Now this must have been during young adult time, like you were post-college?
Post-college, yes. And I would lose 10 pounds every weekend. But we would go out and play tennis.
Wow.
So around Thursday and things like that, play tennis every morning and so forth. And we'd go boat riding and water skiing and things like that, and then dancing and so forth.
What a life. This sounds like great fun.
And I lost 10 pounds between Thursday and Sunday night.
Because you were so active, so busy.
It was all activity.
So much fun with Catholic friends.
Right, with Catholic friends.
Couldn't get any better than that. Wow.
Well, that was very nice. That was very, very nice.
So you got into your career then, I imagine, as well.
Yes, I was working.
Did you find time to work?
Yes, I was working full time and all that stuff. And meeting some people and so forth, and this started into a second segment, more or less, of my life.
This is part 2. We finished part 1.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, it was the first about almost 30 years, and I got involved with some people that a girl that was going to marry, and it looked like I was went to marry and so forth, and she was actually a former nun or whatever. She left the convent. She did. But she had teaching. She had a teaching, degree, and so forth. And unfortunately, that didn't turn out too well. There was a number of problems that were involved in there. There was actually a religious minister very much involved with that whole situation, and it got to be quite a tangle and so forth. And anyway, that ended after about 3 or 4 years. And
so your first big bump.
at first, big bump. We call this a gully, sort of, sort of. And though, from these previous friends and so forth, and ski club and things like that, I met somebody else that I knew previously, and then so we got married, and that went along pretty good. And then things were happening that were very odd, like I would open up my wallet and I'd say, gee, I think I had more money, now I had more money in my wallet than this. And well, things were going on, like I woke up one night with a noise, a thump, and that was my wallet hitting the floor from somebody pursing through my wallet. So somebody was building up a little cash so that they could leave. So that's the way, and there was no stopping. So
a second bump
in the gully. And so I tried to reinvent myself again, and I went out again, and I used to like to go dancing and things like that, and there were a number of dance clubs. And I went out to one of them and so forth, and met somebody that actually I knew before, just personally. Actually, I worked with in that first 10 years. That was a girl in the office that I knew that was, I just casually talked to her here and there and things like that. And we hit off real good. And so not too long, palling around, so forth, we decided to get married, and that's where I'm with now.
All right. Then the final Mrs. Becker
came back out of
this
bump, this slump, shall I say?
Yeah. We all have those bumps, don't we? Wow.
Many of us have bumps and so forth, like the prisoners and so forth. Some of them, they're going to go straight, and when they get out of there, they've gone through some bumps, and I try to impress on them to pick good friends. That's one of the things I try to help them to is pick good friends. It's one of the best things you can do is pick good friends.
Yeah.
Like I had in those earlier years that, when I was with the Catholic Alumni Club and so forth. I'm still great friends, the ones that are still surviving.
Well, we need that kind of support, and I think that's what Jesus talks about when he talks about the word fellowship. I mean, it's sort of an old word maybe, but what he's talking about is friendship and support, right? I mean, support that's going to help keep you focused in the right direction.
You're right.
Yeah. So how did your faith help you through those bumps?
Well, it went bad during that time because, as I said, there was some people I should have trusted and things like that, including the clergy person and so forth. And it turned out, and I actually stopped going to church and so forth during that period of time. But when I came out of that period and got into this third period, we decided both of us were, not really going to church that much. Actually, Barbara was going to church, but she also was felt left out, and also so. And then we decided to go back to the church, and so the other people got divorces, but I got annulments.
Okay.
So.
That was a gift
so
to
both,
you.
Both those got annulments, and we went remarried and so forth in the church, and and it's been great ever since.
So your faith, it doesn't sound like your faith really went south, but maybe your affiliation with the church and the group of people you were with, you got estranged from. Or how would you describe that? Did you feel God during that time?
Well, there's a song.
All right.
Did you ever hear the song that starts off about, if you're going through hell, keep on going.
I've heard just that line, but I didn't know it was a song.
If you're going through hell, keep on going. Don't slow down. If you're scared, don't show it. You might get out, for the devil even knows you're there.
Oh, that's good.
Well, I've been deep down in that darkness. I've been down to my last match. Felt 100 demons breathing fire down my back. And I knew if I stumbled, I'd fall right into the trap they were laying. Yeah. But the good news is there are angels everywhere out on the street, holding out a hand to pull you back upon your feet. There's one that you've been dragging for so long. You're on your knees. You might as well be praying. Guess what I'm saying? Yeah, if you're going through hell, keep on living. Face that fire. Keep right through it. You might get out, for the devil even knows you're there. And that's what I felt happen.
That's so beautiful. Did you write that?
No, this is, the credit is Rodney Atkins. Wrote these lyrics, I think, in 2013 or something like that. But,
wow. Well, it says
2011, I guess it is.
It definitely says.
That's my song.
Yeah. Yeah, keep going. That's the part.
Keep going, right.
Keep going.
Face that fire and keep on going.
What do you do, or what would you encourage other people to do to keep going? I mean, how do you
get involved?
Do that?
That's the thing, is get involved. That's the best way, as far as I can see. And, as I said, you don't have to be rich or anything like that. You can do things that you don't need money, don't have to donate money for, and so forth. You can, help out wherever you can. And I help in the nights and so forth, in the nights. And I help out occasionally here and there when I can. I have some physical problems that I can't do. Some of the jobs that, like 10 hours in the stadium, I can't do anymore.
Yeah, that doesn't sound...
on my feet.
Mm-hmm. That's not good for the feet.
On my legs, and so forth. That's my problem. So, but get involved and so forth. That's the way to get above it all and keep plowing through. Because I guess it's more like what we do for others is what's going to count in the end.
Well, that comes right out of the catechism. Do you remember that from one of those pages that blew off into the because it does mention that, we're accountable in the end for what we've done for the Lord. Right. And
yes, we are accountable for that.
So you're doing a lot, and that's what keeps you going. That's what you would encourage people to do. Now, the Mass itself is pretty important. Right? I mean, coming back to church was a big part of how you kept going.
That's right.
Right? Attending Mass. Are there parts of the Mass that you like the best?
Well, the gospel, of course. But, there are others, we do the readings, of course, when we do this church service. We do like almost a full Mass, except, of course, there's no consecration and so forth. And we discuss what the readings are about and so forth, and how they may be connected or whatever, or the point that each one of them maybe does. Mm-hmm. So we try to discuss this with the inmates over there, and try to do other things for them. Like one gentleman was asking for a Bible, and so he wanted a Spanish Bible. So I bought a Spanish Bible for him and brought it in, and so forth. Things like that, he very appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, the Bible is important, the Mass is important, getting involved is important, all of those things. Are there people in your life that you feel are big influencers?
Well, my wife, of course, she's very much of an influence. Mm-hmm. So, and we actually pretty much complement each other. Basically, we have different skills, things like that. So we don't butt heads.
That's good.
Too much anyway.
It's
And
normal, but
we
it's
complement each other because we have different talents and things like that. So I'm the physical guy. Basically, I'm an engineer, so I can fix things and so forth. And my wife was trained very much in decorating and things like that. So she's done all the nice things around the house and so forth.
So you've combined your gifts together.
Yes. So that's one of my helpers.
Yeah, sounds wonderful.
I like.
Well, thank you. Anything else you want to share to the people that are going to listen to your journey? You told us about 3 segments and bumps, and those are all very normal. We can all understand that. Anything else you want to add?
I don't have any real ones. I've got some good news today. Basically, I've been fighting prostate cancer for 23 years and been on some great medications because my numbers started rising suddenly a couple of years back. I went through radiation and all that stuff, and it didn't stop it. Whatever. And they told me I was too old to operate on. So, have been on some medication that helped out quite a bit because it stopped any growth and it brought my numbers down to where almost 0.1 type thing.
0 sounds good.
It is very good.
Well, praise God for that.
That's the other thing is I'm very, 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 very thankful for all the Lord has given me. Very thankful. And I add that into my prayers, standard prayers we say and things like that at the end. I say I want to thank the Lord for everything He's done for me.
Yes. Gratitude, very important.
All right. I'm just telling the story about my dog that I took.
Well, you better tell it before we stop.
During this last 30 years, I got a super dog. He was very, very obedient. Didn't need a leash. I'd walk real fast. He'd walk real fast. I'd slow down. He'd slow down. I'd stop instantly. He'd stop. That kind of stuff.
Wow.
Perfect. Understood the rules perfectly and so forth. And I said, I got to share them with people. And so I joined Pets on Wheels, and they sent me over to Copper Ridge. And the dog's name was Copper.
Wow.
Would you believe?
Perfect.
So we went over there, and he learned the ropes very quick. We would get out of the car, I would fold up his leash, hand it to him, and he'd go up right through the electric doors into the building behind the receptionist's desk, and then give him a treat.
Wow.
I'd sign in and I'd say, okay, pick up your leash. We got to go back and see 120 people. So we walked them back and went through the whole place over there. And it's like 2 areas in one level and then another lower level and so forth. And we go through the whole place in about 2 hours. And there were people who he converted to being a dog lover from being dog haters, would you believe? I mean, I had people say, I was knocked over as a baby in my crib, and I've hated dogs all my life, but I like this dog. Another lady, all I ever saw of her was the top of her head because she was always laying on the table. And I'd keep my dog away from us and, don't go there. And he was very obedient and so forth, And finally, one day, she lifted her head up and she says, I don't like dogs, but I like this dog.
Oh, wow.
And she laid right that down on the table. And that's so. Another one.
You gave her joy.
Another one was I used to go touring through the whole building, as I said, and there's one that I used to stop by. And anyway, I got a request one day, we'd stop by her all the time, so forth. And I got a request to come back and see her, and it was at her deathbed. And my dog crawled up right alongside of her his feet still on the floor, his back feet still on the floor, and just so she could lift her arm and tell him.
Wow.
And she didn't, the people over there don't, and typically the 2 years is the term over there, basically for the average. And so, as I said, he did wonders over there. I mean, did a bunch of tricks and so forth. You know, I'd say back up, you know, I'd make him back up 15 feet, and then it'd stop. And then I'd throw out a treat. And he wouldn't touch it until I say, okay. So, you don't have dogs like that very often nowadays.
Yeah, really.
Usually. So he was fantastic.
Well, it sounds like he ministered to people along with you,
right,
in a big way.
So he brings back memories. It's sad because he did stories. You know, and as I said, it was fantastic. Taking him over there for 6 years.
Wow,
He was on their calendar.
That's a long history with such a companion, isn't it?
It was. It was a fantastic.
What a wonderful experience that you
You
gave.
never get one dog like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, what a blessing it is to talk to you, Andy. Thank you.
Thank you. It's
Thank
a
you
blessing
for
to talk to
sharing.
you.
And so that's our story for today, and we welcome you to get a hold of us before maybe we get a hold of you to tell your story.